clicker?
It's right there on your phone.
Great. By a show of hands, who thinks $75 million is a lot of money? Come on. Okay, that's good to know. By a show of hands, same question. How many of you think $500 million is a lot of money? Okay. I'm going to show you today how the Asheville Regional Airport contributes to the economy in Western North Carolina to those figures. So stand by with me while I do this, and you'll see why.
It's on the podium. Yeah.
Oh, it's on the podium. There it is. Thank you. So Asheville Regional Airport is an economic cornerstone of Western North Carolina. And we're growing with the region. As you guys grow, so do we. A little bit today, I'll be talking about a brief overview of who we are, what we do, airport growth and development, and the economic importance to Western North Carolina, circling back around to my 2 questions this morning. Quick facts. We have a 7,000-foot runway. It's 1,000 foot shorter than normally, and I'll be talking about our construction project. The new permanent runway is under construction. We have approximately 24 flights a day. We connect hundreds of cities and worldwide destinations through our major hubs. And we have 12 nonstop destinations, including those major hubs of Atlanta, Charlotte, and Chicago. Serviced by 4 carriers: Allegiant Air, American, Delta, and United. Allegiant added 3 new nonstop routes this year, 2016. One was to Baltimore, Washington, D.C., Jacksonville, Florida, and New York City starting this November. So we're excited to be able to connect the Big Apple, talking about the apple harvest. We are connecting the Big Apple. Allegiant also made Asheville a maintenance and base hub for crews. So we currently have 2 aircraft based overnight at our airport, with 40 of their employees, flight crews and maintenance mechanics that are based living in the Asheville, Western North Carolina region. There's talks about adding another airplane, and hopefully that will materialize within the next 12 months. And then Delta and American have added some more mainline service, first class seats that some of our travelers are looking for, the more frequent flyer travelers. And United has added more frequency to Chicago this year. Long-term history since we started in the late 50s, early 60s. You can see by the green line, it may be fluctual, but actually we have increased our passenger traffic over the years, 50 years that we've been in business. So we continue to increase. Calendar year 2015 was our most, our biggest year. And we had almost 800,000 passengers use our airport last year in 2015. 16 is shaping up to be another good year. A little on the flat side. When you have 3 good growth years, at some point growth gets harder and harder to attain, but we are continuing in that right direction. So what are we doing? Project SOAR, significant opportunity for aviation and the region. We broke ground on the biggest airport project that the airport's seen since we opened back in the 50s, and we're moving forward. What we're doing is we have built a temporary runway, which is right here, 7,000 foot, while we deconstruct and rebuild our main runway 75 feet west of where it's currently sitting. Changing it for 2 reasons. One, the runway is 50 years old. It outlived its useful life, so it needed to be improved. And 2, we're trying to bring up our standards to the current FAA standards that have developed over the years. We were 50 or 75 feet too close to our parallel taxiway that runs in front of the terminal building. So we basically are shifting the whole runway 75 feet to the west. While we do that, we can't shut the airport down. It's too big of an economic driver for the community. So we did, again, built this temporary runway, and this is on phase 3. It's under construction now. We also reclaimed a lot of land. This is just one aspect of some possible development on the airport that we reclaimed during our project of building the temporary runway. Let me back up, this is our $75 million project. So when I asked earlier, $75 million is a lot. It is a lot. It's, again, it's our biggest project. It's more than the airport cost when it was built back in the late 50s. But it's driving a lot of jobs and an economy for what we're doing within the region. The additional growth, what we've got going on also, we're breaking ground in less than about 3 weeks on our brand new parking garage. Traffic has grown, like I've shown, and we're running out of parking. Who's used it, had to park way down at the bottom of the hill and haul their luggage up? We get more complaints from passengers lugging their bags up the hill. No one complains about going down the hill unless it's raining. But we understand the growth and the needs of our passengers. We do have an elderly population in Western North Carolina, and it makes it difficult for them to walk up that hill. To put in a shuttle operation is really not cost effective. A shuttle operation would be over $1 million a year in operating it, and it's in perpetuity. So we figured we'd go with the garage to add. We are building, it's 1,300 spaces, 1,100 public parking, and 200 for the rental cars. We're moving the rental cars that are adjacent to the building into the garage. There'll be a covered canopy walking from the terminal building as you exit the backclaim area right into the garage area. So with the good comes the bad. We're going to be under construction for 1 year, and we have to displace 400 current parking spaces while we're under construction. So bear with us. We've opened up a credit card only lot at the bottom of the hill as you exit the airport. Credit card in, credit card out, so you don't have to see an attendant and all that stuff. That's roughly 200 spaces. And then we're putting in 200 spaces across the street on Airport Road 280 in front of the Fairfield Inn. That will be shuttled. We will be reducing that price of the inconvenience for that, and that will be a run on a shuttle back and forth to the airport. So bear with us for the year that we're under construction. You'll be pleased with the garage once it's done. Okay, so I talked about the $75 million. Now let's bring up the $500,000. Airports in the North Carolina story. Airports in this region, or in the state of North Carolina, there are 72 public airports, 10 of which are commercial service. It provides $913 million in direct government revenue. 56 million annual passengers to and from North Carolina every year. Again, it's all collectively all 10 commercial airports. Admittedly, Charlotte is the biggest airport with their hub, so they are contributing widely to that number. And we also provide 1.3 billion pounds of air freight flying out of North Carolina every year. So again, aviation and airports are very important to the region. $31 billion of economic output to the state. 7% of aviation is related to the North Carolina GDP, and it creates 123,000 jobs throughout the state. Let's drill down a little bit more important. Western North Carolina story. Asheville is the 4th largest commercial service airport in North Carolina. We follow Charlotte, Raleigh, and Greensboro. We surpassed Wilmington last year, and we hope we can continue to keep surpassing Wilmington as the 4th largest airport. The airport here contributes 1,700 direct, indirect, and induced jobs to the region. $10 million of sales, corporate property taxes go back into the region. And the airport itself, $556 million of economic output. There's your $500 million that the airport contributes to Western North Carolina. We always ask, check Asheville first. We may not always be the cheapest, but we are the most convenient when you fly out of Asheville. And I want to I'll be happy to take questions, but thank you for your time this morning.